Today, I'm talking specifically about content creation and why we procrastinate content. I have clients who come into my world. We'll start working together. We'll start working on content, and they'll be in the calls every single week. We'll be working together. We'll be teaching them the strategies. They'll be learning everything for 6 months, for a year, and still will not post a piece of content. And the question is, why do we do that? Like, why does this happen? Why is it so hard? And by the way, I'm talking specifically about content creation right now because I think it's really present for me, for a lot of my clients, for a lot of you guys. It's something, it's context that I talk about a lot. But let's be clear that we're talking about procrastination in any sense of the word, in anything that you are procrastinating. Do this. Maybe it's content for you. Maybe it's not. But do this right now. What is one thing in your life that you are procrastinating right now? Something that you know you should be doing, that you feel like you want to do because it will get you to a certain result that you want, something that you want to achieve in your life, something that you want to see happen in your life. And so you want to do it. There's a part of you that really wants to, that wants to do this thing. And yet it's been days, it's been weeks, it's been months, it's been years, and you haven't done it. And sometimes you don't even realize it until you look in hindsight at it, because during the process, actually, let me get there. Sometimes you don't even realize it until you look at it in hindsight, because you look back and you go, oh my gosh, it's been 6 months and I haven't posted a piece of content, or I've been avoiding this conversation, or I've been avoiding doing this, making this move in my business. I've been avoiding doing this thing, right? So you have these things, and sometimes you don't even realize it until you're looking back and you're like, wow, it has been a long time that I have not done this thing that I wanted to do. So what is going on? Because during the process of procrastination, you kind of don't even realize you're doing it. And the reason is because it doesn't look like procrastination in the process. It's not, you don't wake up one day and you go, okay, I want to create a piece of content today, but I'm scared of doing that. And so therefore I'm going to procrastinate it. That is not what happens. That is not the dialogue that happens in your brain. You're not thinking like, I'm going to procrastinate this today. What you're thinking is, well, sometimes actually you're not even thinking. Something comes up, a thought comes up like, oh, I should do this. And you start doing it. Instead of posting the piece of content, you spend like 3 hours adjusting your lighting, fixing your camera, setting things up and everything. And you feel like you're making progress, but you're actually not, because you're not doing the thing that you actually need to do. All right. Let's say you need to make a move in your business and you get distracted, or you start to reason, or you start to justify, or your brain comes up with any number of reasons why you should not do the thing. And sometimes it's not, don't do that thing. It's, oh, let's do this instead. Let's go do this thing. Oh, this would be really cool. This feels fun. This feels effortless. This feels like flow. This feels like something that I could do right now. This actually needs to get done. Oh, you know what? I have a client over here that actually needs this. I should go and do this, right? You start justifying and creating all these different pathways and things that you should be doing instead of the thing that you really, really need to do deep down inside, that you know you need to do, that you want to do, is the thing that's going to move you forward, that's going to make you actually have progress, but you don't do it. And so, like I said, in the process, it doesn't feel like procrastination. It just feels like having a better idea. It feels like you don't even think about it. You just end up doing something else. So why does this happen? So why do we do this? That's what procrastination is we avoid this thing that is at some level scary to us or feels uncomfortable. It's outside your comfort zone. And like I said, this could be anything. It could be content creation. It could be, like I said, there's been clients that have come in 6 months or a year of listening to me talk, figuring out strategies, optimizing their whole strategy, building their content waterfall system, setting everything up, but never actually hitting record. But it may not be content creation for you. Maybe it's something else, and that's totally fine. So why do we do this? Why do we procrastinate? So to get to the heart of this, let's first just get really clear on what procrastination is, what it is. Because I think we see this as like, oh, it's a thing that I have, or like it's a disease, or it's something that I do, or whatever, like nobody else does this, I do this. Okay, everyone does this in some way, shape, or form. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to avoid something. So all of this, like, going down a different path, or justifying, or going a different direction, or thinking of something else, or coming up with another idea is all, let's be real, what this is, these are avoidance patterns. They're patterns, they're ways that your brain, your mind tricks you, your ego, by the way, tricks you into doing something else or distracting you or making you think that you should go somewhere else to avoid a certain thing. So what is procrastination? Procrastination is a protection mechanism. Your body is really good at this. Okay, you have this infinite wisdom inside of your body that is really good at helping you do the things that it wants to do and not do the things that it doesn't want to do, to get you motivated to do the things that feel safe and to get you demotivated from doing the things that feel unsafe. So it is a protection mechanism. There's a part of you or multiple parts of you inside of you that are saying this thing feels scary, feels uncomfortable, feels painful for some reason, and it could be many different reasons, but for some reason this thing feels painful. And therefore, I'm going to try to distract you from doing it because if I do this thing, I am going to end up in pain. That's procrastination. It is a protection mechanism. Your body is actually really good at protecting you. It's really good at keeping you in your comfort zone. Our bodies are wired for survival, right? Fear is a normal, natural response to things. It comes up. So what's happening is that your body is telling you stop doing this thing because it is afraid of something. And I also recognize that the moment I say that like procrastination is fear. It's that you're scared of something. The moment I say that, your mind may be saying, oh, I'm not scared. It's not because I'm scared of it, right? Because your mind also doesn't like the idea of being a scaredy cat. It doesn't like the idea of you being scared of something. You might be the type of person that's like, no, I'm not scared. I would do it, whatever. But then why haven't you done it, right? So the moment we think about doing the thing that you're afraid of, your mind says, oh, actually, let's do something else. And then the moment we bring up the reason you're avoiding that is because you're afraid of it. No, I'm not afraid of it. And it might even convince you to go do it. See, sometimes it's like reverse psychology. Sometimes all it takes is somebody telling you the reason why you haven't posted content is because you're afraid of it. And your ego is so strong that I am not afraid of that it will go and it will force you to do it. I went through a lot of years of posting content like consistently and putting myself out there. And I'll be just totally vulnerable and honest and raw with you guys. Like, I never got over my fear of creating content or of putting myself out there. It's still there. It still very much exists. So, and I've never been real about that before, but like, that's real. I think everybody has that, at least to some extent. I was doing it consistently, but it was a grind. Okay. And so this is where most advice around procrastination falls apart. Because what happens is if you listen to the Hustle Bros and the podcasts and all that stuff, which I love, I listen to all of them too. There's a lot of good in there as well. But there's one thing that I've just noticed over and over again that I feel like for me personally that they get wrong. And is this idea of do it scared. You guys ever heard that before? If you feel fear around doing something, if you feel scared around doing it, it's like, just do it scared. And the thing with do it scared, it's really tricky. It's really tricky because it is almost correct. It is almost correct. And there's wisdom in it, but not fully. It is missing something, okay? So this idea of do it scared. So where's the wisdom in it? Well, you see this kind of approach towards procrastination or anything that's blocking you in your life, anything that's stopping you, any kind of sort of self-sabotage or something pattern that you're in or avoidance pattern where you don't get the thing done, whether it's content creation or anything else. You have this pattern that you're stuck in and you're struggling to get over it. And the general wisdom out there, the general advice is just do it anyway, right? You feel something, whatever, turn that off and do it anyway. Do it scared. Just blast through that. Whatever, create a routine, create a process, optimize your system and your patterns in order to make it easier. Blast through it, get it done. Don't worry about it. Just make it happen. Okay? It doesn't matter if you're scared. It doesn't matter if you feel something. Just do it. And the problem with this advice, like I said, it's so close. It's almost there. Because there is an element of this where if there's something that you're procrastinating doing, there is a fear underneath that thing of something that you're worried about. And there's an element of this where you're going to have to do it regardless of the fact that you feel fearful. Okay, let's just be clear about that. But you can approach this in a much more nuanced way. And that nuanced way is not blasting through the fear. Because when you blast through the fear, okay, let's do it. We'll just talk about content. Okay. Easy example. How many of you guys have ever like gotten on camera to record a piece of content or had the idea? Let's not even get it on camera. Okay. So you have the idea. I need to post a piece of content. I need to put myself out there. I need to create something, whatever it is. And you get distracted, you get sleepy, you get tired, you get all these things start to happen. They want to take you in any other direction other than doing the thing that you know you're supposed to do. Okay. You've had that before. So that's before even recording. But I see this a lot with clients. You get on camera, let's say you sit down in front of the camera, like you actually got yourself to that point where you're going to do it. You hit record and you start trying to teach or you start trying to share something, you start trying to record, and it takes you like 3 hours to record a 60-second video because you get in there, you're clear, you know your message, you know what you're about to teach, you know what you're about to talk about, you know this stuff, you've taught it before, you've been on stages, you've written a book, you've built a business, you've helped other people with this, you know exactly what's going on. What's up, Kaylee? You've done this before, but the thing is, the moment you hit record, your brain just goes berserk. It's just like, what is going on? And you're thinking about where this is going to go and how it's going to get edited and if it's going to work and how many views it's going to get and how many likes and what people are going to think and whether you're saying it right. And you're thinking about the words that are coming out of your mouth and you're making sure that everything is right and you're just crafty. You're making sure, am I even sitting in the center of the camera? Your brain is anywhere and everywhere but on the message that you were trying to share. Okay. So let's be clear. Again, we're talking about content here, but this is anything because this is the avoidance pattern. This is, I can't stay present in what I'm doing, in the fear, in what I feel, and what is going on, and do the thing anyway in the presence of that danger. Okay, let's talk about what it is. It's danger. So what do? Most of the time we just avoid it. But then when you get into it, then you struggle with it. So we've all been there before. Okay, so let's talk about content. So when that happens, what is happening? Well, what most people would teach you is just do it anyway. And just do it anyway, and then do it again, and then do it again. And if you keep doing it over and over and over again, eventually you will become confident, okay? Confidence is in repetition. But I don't think that's actually true because what you're doing is maybe to an extent because as you continue doing it, if you continue to gain evidence towards, oh, this is safe. Let's say you do the content, you create the video, you go live like this. You get in front of people, you get some amazing comments and amazing engagement on it. And it's amazing. And by the end of it, you're like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And people actually loved it and it worked and it was awesome. Great. Then you just gained some evidence that this is safe. And so then you might do it again and you get more amazing comments and everybody loves you. You're like, cool. And then you do it again and you start to pile up this evidence that this is a safe thing. And what it does is it trains your nervous system that like this is safe. The problem is, that's not how this works. How many of you guys have ever had a negative comment on a piece of content? How many of you guys have ever had made a piece of content that didn't work, that didn't perform? Okay. The assumption here that this is going to work, that I'm just going to keep doing this thing and I'm going to gain confidence over time, is also holding on to a really big assumption that this is going to work and make me feel good every single time. And the reality is that that's just not how it works. The reality is the thing is scary because you had a past experience where it scared you, where a negative something happened. That's where you learned the fear response, because that's what happens. Everything doesn't always go positively. Everything doesn't always go the way you want it to. You will get a negative comment. You will get somebody not interested. You will make a piece of content that gets 1 like and it's your mom. And that's not fun. It doesn't feel good. And so therefore, what actually ends up happening, we tend to think like, if I just blast through this, if I just do it anyway, I will build confidence over time. But the reality is what happens is the moment something even semi-negative happens, you end up re-triggering that fear. Now, you might have a lot of willpower. Maybe you sleep well, maybe you take supplements, whatever. You have a lot of willpower. You're the type of person who can just blast through it, but you're blasting through something, and every time you blast through it, you are re-triggering it. And you're basically just guaranteeing that it's going to stay there forever and that it's always going to be hard. This is why you read books like, where they talk about like resistance, or if you listen to podcasts and they talk about how like, oh, it just was what it is. Like you need willpower to get through because life is just hard. There's just kind of this like general understanding or belief that, oh, this stuff is hard. And so therefore it's just always going to be hard. And again, there's some truth to that. Like I'm not going to speak in extremes here or absolutes, but the understanding or the belief that this is just hard and I will always have to blast through it. And so what I do is I adopt an identity of the type of person who just blasts through it all the time. Ends up turning into something that, yes, in the short term will make you productive and will get it done and you will make it happen. And that's what I did for years, posting content, and I made it happen. I blasted through it. And then what happened on the other end of that is that I ended up in extreme burnout, where like it all just came crashing down. And there you go. If you've been listening since the beginning of the stream, there's the beginning of that story. But what happens is you've been blasting through it for so long, maybe 10 years of blasting through it. And now you just don't have the energy to do it anymore. So the question is, what is the alternative? And I'm not going to go on forever here, but what is the alternative? What do you do instead? How do you actually beat procrastination? How do you stop procrastination? And I think it actually begins with maybe changing the wording around that. Maybe it's not about beating procrastination, but it's how do I understand my procrastination? Because there's an element of this where you can do it scared while understanding it. And what this would look like is something more like this. Recognizing that when you sit down to do something, or when you think about doing something that you know you should do, that you've been procrastinating for a long time, start to pay attention to what is coming up and what is actually stopping me from doing this. What is actually stopping me? And you can sit down and you can journal about this, and actually taking the time to listen to your body, listen to your mind, see what's actually going on here. Start to write these things down. Okay, so if, let's say, again, using the example of content creation, because I think it's really present and an easy example of this, you sit down, you go, okay, I'm going to create a piece of content right now. I'm going to go live right now. I'm going to do this thing. And you decide to do that. And just notice what comes up. Okay? Maybe there's a thought like, oh, I should adjust the lighting and get the cameras all looking perfect. Or maybe you start to feel sleepy. Maybe you start to feel, maybe you start to decide that, you start to wonder like, do I even really want to create content? Do I even really want to put myself out there? Do I want to be an influencer? Do I want to be an entrepreneur? Maybe I don't. Maybe there's a better way to do this. Maybe I could grow my business another way. Okay. So you start negotiating, you start having these like different thoughts, ways to do it. Maybe you start to feel like there's something else that you want to work on right now that feels like, oh man, I'm really excited about this right now. I should follow what I'm excited about and I should go work on this. Let me go, design a funnel, or let me go build my software, or let me go do this. Maybe it's you find yourself on Amazon. You start shopping. Okay, start writing these things down. What urges come up? What tendencies start popping up that you want to do? And start paying attention to those. Because the thing is, what most people do, and when they teach this, do it scared, what they're teaching you to do is just blast past all of this, ignore it, and essentially what you're talking about with this is you're talking about just suppressing real emotion that is happening in your body. These are real things that come up, okay? We tend to, I think especially men do this, but I think everybody does this to some extent, is that we tend to want to just turn it off. All right. And there's neuroscience behind this and what actually happens. We want to cut off our prefrontal cortex from the amygdala and the hippocampus and make sure that we don't actually connect with those feelings, those things that are coming up. Fear comes up. We start to feel it. We go, oh, I'm not supposed to feel that. Put that away. Just blast through it. Right. Don't touch it. Don't actually go there. Don't actually make it happen. And so we push it away. And what you're doing through all this process, every time you blast through it, every time you don't actually sit in that and actually process what's going on, you're just suppressing it. You're just pushing it down. And over time, this starts to pile up. Okay. So just the simple act of, yes, you are going to do it scared, but just a simple act of, before doing it, sitting down and acknowledging what's coming up. Because whatever comes up, whatever you feel, whatever you think, whatever is happening, it is happening. It is real. Okay. Can we just acknowledge that? You're not making this up. It's not something that you invented. It's real. It's happening. The fear behind this thing is real. You may not understand why there's a fear there. You may not understand what it's actually trying to protect you from. There's some dialogue that you can do around that, but I don't think that's 100% necessary right away. The reality is that this is real. It is happening. I am feeling this. And if you can just sit and acknowledge that and then say, I feel this, however, I'm still going to do it because I know it's what I should do. I know it's what I want to do. I know it's going to get me the result that I want. I know it's going to take me the direction that I want to go. It's going to get me where I want to be. This thing that I've been avoiding. And then you do that. So, yes, you do it scared. You do it scared. But there's a big difference between just turn all that off and do it scared and just do it anyway, and spend a moment, 5 minutes, pay attention to and acknowledge what is coming up and what's there. These are the fears. This is what I'm worried about. This is what I'm afraid is going to happen if I do this thing. Then do this thing. While you're doing it, pay attention to those parts of you that are coming up. Okay? I'm doing this right now. I'm literally teaching you guys right now. I'm sharing this with you. And there are things that are coming up. There are feelings of, ooh, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm just noticing it. I'm just acknowledging it. That's all there is to do. And then do the thing. When you're done with the thing, this is the second really important part, is sit down and this would be called integration. Integrate it. Okay? Instead of, again, do it scared, blast through it, boom, move on to the next thing. Like people, like our entire lives are just us moving from distraction to distraction to distraction to distraction. That distraction is doing things, it's building a business, it's creating content, it's looking at social media, it's playing video games, whatever it is. Instead, actually sitting with, this is how I feel, this is what's coming up, then do the thing, notice the feelings as you're doing it, and then afterwards, just do a quick check-in. How did that feel? What came up? And write that down. This is how you beat procrastination. It doesn't happen the first time, but it happens over time, right? This is how you, instead of just blasting through this thing that you're afraid of doing and piling up, let's call it what it is, like trauma, okay? Piling up these emotions and feelings and suppressing them over and over and over and over and over again, just making it harder and harder and harder and pushing yourself further and further and further towards burnout. Instead, you actually do this in an excavating way, is that every time you do it, you actually release a little bit of that energy. You release a little bit of that tension. You release a little bit of that fear. You start to train yourself. Okay, it's actually the connection between your amygdala and your brain and your hippocampus. The amygdala is where you feel fear. The hippocampus is where you learn. If you don't actually do this processing, if you don't actually go through this process, you end up, the fear still happens in your brain and it still connects to your hippocampus, and you start to learn these patterns of avoidance of the things that you want to do. It becomes something that, the reason you're avoiding something or you're procrastinating, you're not thinking about it, cognitively. This is a subconscious process where you've just learned over decades of avoiding this thing that avoidance is the answer. Anytime I feel this fear, I need to go do something else. Anytime I feel this, I need to avoid it. Okay? It's just get away from these things. And you have to retrain those neural pathways. Okay? It's literally a retraining process. And the way you retrain it is by acknowledging it, not identifying with it, acknowledging the pain, acknowledging the fear, acknowledging what comes up, then doing the thing, noticing what comes up while doing it, and then afterwards integrating it. And then doing that again and again and again. And every time, like I said, what happens is you start shuffling off these layers of fear and natural responses that have been built over years and years and years and probably decades.